Kentucky's General Assembly is on break for a bit after sending more than 100 pieces of proposed legislation to the governor. Lawmakers stayed late Friday night to wrap up business before heading into the governor's 10-day veto period. As our June Leffler reports, Republican supermajorities passed changes to Kentucky's Medicaid program, including bans on gender-affirming care for transgender Kentuckians. This report begins our legislative update.
Kentucky spends billions of dollars on Medicaid. Republican lawmakers want to rein in that spending with changes made in House Bill 695.
This bill, it's not going to be perfect. Medicaid's too big for perfection. There will always be differences of opinion. There will always be changes in approach. But this bill ensures that those of us who the people trust to make sure that we care for the vulnerable have the appropriate knowledge to make sure that it's done in the appropriate way and not abused, but used in the way that we would hope.
House Bill 695 mandates adults without children and without a disability work at least 20 hours a week or work with a state job placement agency to maintain their health coverage. Kentucky has long debated these work requirements, which Democrats oppose.
What we have seen in states that have implemented these work requirements is that thousands of people lose health care, not because they're not eligible, not because they're not working, but because they don't fill out the form and they lose their health care coverage, their health suffers, and sometimes, not all the time, sometimes people die.
A fall report from the Kaiser Family Foundation found most Kentucky adults on Medicaid do work. Republicans carried House Bill 695 in both chambers, sending it to the governor. Another change to Medicaid, the program would no longer pay for hormone therapy or gender-affirming surgeries for transgender Kentuckians under House Bill 495. The Christian Conservative Family Foundation applauded the bill, saying, quote, "It's not possible to change a person's sex, and government has no place in promoting or subsidizing such madness." Most Democrats voted against the bill.
There have been no other groups this session that I have heard of, in my opinion, that have had to fight for freedom of their health care choices than trans people and women. And this bill, for me, I don't know about anyone else, but I have that family in my mind right now. And I couldn't live with myself if I went home tonight knowing that I cast a vote that would lead to somebody's child not getting life-saving health care.
House Bill 495 passed in a final 67-19 vote. The bill also overturns Governor Andy Beshear's ban on conversion therapy, which aims to change a person's sexual orientation. And Republicans advanced Senate Bill 2 to prohibit gender-affirming care to state jail or prison inmates, even if they had already been prescribed and taking hormones before being incarcerated. State officials have testified that 67 transgender Kentucky inmates are taking hormones.
While health care within our prison system is necessary, the funds that we allocate must prioritize the health and safety of incarcerated individuals based on medical necessity. By continuing to fund such elective procedures, we are diverting valuable taxpayer dollars from other crucial areas. Areas like education, public health programs, and support for vulnerable communities.
Most Democrats also oppose this bill.
This is embarrassing for Kentucky to see that we are continuing to go after such small populations of individuals who are already vulnerable.
These bills are now on the governor's desk. The General Assembly will have 2 days later this month to override any of the governor's vetoes. For Kentucky Edition, I'm June Leffler.
Thank you, June. Governor Andy Beshear has already signed nearly 24 bills passed this session into law. Today, he signed a bill that would make minor league baseball players exempt from Kentucky wage and hour laws. Senate Bill 15 was sponsored by Republican Senator Amanda Mays Bledsoe of Lexington. It ensures baseball's new collective bargaining agreement doesn't cause players to run afoul of Kentucky's regulations. Well, we'll talk a lot about what's happened in the Kentucky General Assembly and with With just 2 more days to go, what could they still do? What do they still hope to accomplish? Well, we'll talk about it all on Kentucky Tonight at KET.org/KY Tonight.